Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So I have a new mold that I wanted to try. It's a cross and it has two like connected hearts in the center of it. So the way that I've done this is I done the paint method with the mold again, and I used white and purple, and then I backed it with black. So here I'm just taking the white mica powder and I'm gonna start with the hearts in the center, and then I just paint that on. So now that I have the white in all three of the hearts, because there was a third one like right below the two in the center, then I kind of wipe my brush off with a dry paper towel to see that loose mica powder out of it so I don't cross the colors. And now I'm going to take purple and go along the, I guess the outside, I guess you could say. Now the purple is done, and when I was doing the purple, I ended up getting a little bit like fallout or excess droppage, whatever you want to call it. It kind of went into the heart in the center, so I just got the white back out and went over that again just to kind of, I guess, cover the purple, I guess you could say. And then once I do this, I take it to the trash and flip it upside down and shake up the excess mica powder, because if you don't do that, it will, the particles or whatever will kind of float to the top. I did have that happen on this on the back, so I will show you what it does. It doesn't look bad. I mean, it kind of gives it a little bit of a sparkle. Alright, so the excess mica powder has been shaken out, and I did use a layer of UV resin first. Before I done the black resin, I didn't really have a reason as to why I done it this way, other than I didn't know if I would have enough 2-part epoxy to do the black. So I just took my UV resin, I filled in the hearts in the center, and then I went around and like I said, I just done a layer of clear before I done the black. So the UV resin that I use is from Let's Resin, and it is self-leveling, but I still kind of move it around a little bit just to kind of help spread it out. And then I take a rubber little toothpick spatula scooper thing. I don't know the actual term for it. I take that and go around the edge to try and make sure that there isn't any air bubbles or anything kind of trapped under there. And then I'll kind of tap it a little bit to kind of further help those bubbles come to the top. So it was at this moment that I realized that using the UV wasn't the best choice, because the mold is on the larger size, and I have a little light from Let's Resin that came with a starter kit, just a little bitty light. I've used it in my other videos, but obviously it's too small for this cross. So I had to get the light that I have for when I would do my nails, and it worked, but I would have felt better if the light was bigger, just to be sure that I got a good cure on it. But this did work. I think that the light caused the mold to bend a little bit, because when it cured, which you'll see at the end, it was a little warped. I'm not sure if the light caused that or if it was just the mold itself, but it did have a little bit of like a curvature, I guess you could say. And then while that's curing, I got the black resin mixed up. Of course, the clear first, and then I had to put the pigment in it. But I wanted to go ahead and mix up that 2-part epoxy and let it set for a few minutes to let the bubbles come to the top before I actually put in the black pigment. I do always cure my things twice, typically twice on both sides. I stirred the two-part epoxy for 2 minutes. I set a timer on my watch to be sure that I had it mixed really, really well. You always want to make sure that it looks clear after you mix it. And then I set another timer for 10 minutes just to let it set and also for it to heat up. Um, and then I flipped the cross over to cure it on the other side. You'll see that I have a thermometer there, a little handheld one. That is, I use that to check the temperature of the resin as it sets. I read that you want it to be between, I think it says 72 and 75 degrees, I believe. It actually got warmer than that. It got up to 90 degrees. So the longer it sets, obviously the warmer it's going to get because it's starting to react and it's starting to cure. So just kind of keep that in mind. After I cured it on the other side, that's when I noticed that it had warped a little bit. You could see the way the light hit it, you could see that it was raised up on that left side. Alright, so now I'm going to use the black epoxy paste from Let's Resin. It's very, very pigmented. I didn't use that much, which you'll see here in just a second. You don't have to mix anything with it. You just put it right into your already mixed two-part epoxy. And you just stir it up really well, and that's really about it. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a quick stir just to be sure it's still good. And I also wanted to test to see how thick it was getting, because again, the longer it sets, the thicker it's going to get. And then I put in the black pigment, and then I'll just give it a stir and make sure it's mixed up really good. I don't even think I stirred this up for 2 minutes when I put the black pigment in, because it was already stirred up really good. I just wanted to be sure that it was mixed well with that color. And then when I checked the temperature, you can see it was 90.1, which is pretty warm, but I'm not sure what's too warm, if that makes sense, because I've only been doing this for like 5 minutes, not gonna lie. So once it's mixed up, I go ahead and I put it over top of that clear UV resin. So when I was pouring the resin, I actually thought that I had just the right amount. I had a little bit left over in the cup, but you can see in the center how it's kind of over the edges of the little spacers. I'm not sure what they're actually called. So when resin cures, I guess it expands. I'm not sure, but you'll see, I think. And then I take the little rubber scraper and then I go around the edge just again to be sure that there's not any bubbles trapped in. I take my stick lighter and heat it up just a little bit again to pop those bubbles. And then I just kind of take a look and make sure that I don't see any bubbles or anything like that. And you can, of course, always use a toothpick to help pop the bubbles. You just have to be really careful so you don't puncture your mold. You use a wooden toothpick. Again, just be cautious and be mindful of how sharp your toothpick is and how you're using it, at what angle and everything like that. Because while molds are typically cheap, you don't want to ruin them prematurely. So now that I am finished with the resin, making sure that the bubbles and everything are good, I got a curing machine from Let's Resin and I put that in there. I let it set for 3 hours. It automatically cuts off at 3 hours, and then you just kind of test it and make sure that it's good to demold. Okay, and we are ready to demold now. That was a quick 3 hours, huh? So you'll see I have some other things there that I had demolded prior to. I have another video on those. But you can see that while it was in the machine, it expanded or whatever, and it kind of ran over on the end. But I was able to kind of cut that away. And it was funny because I got to thinking, I was like, well, there's some flaws on it. Of course, there's going to be flaws. Again, I've only been doing this for about 5 minutes, but we're all flawed, right? So I kind of embraced it after I thought of it in that way. So we're going to unmold this, and then I will flip it over so you guys can see it. All right, and here we are. We have the black with the purple and the silver. So the white mica powder, it actually made a little silver look for those hearts, which I wasn't mad at. I thought it actually complemented the purple really well. I tried to cut off that excess where it kind of came over. It was really hard because it has set up pretty well at this point. I may or may not have shot a couple of pieces of resin across the kitchen, and the cat started chasing them, so I had to get them away from her. But I was very happy with how this turned out. I am going to redo it again because, well, for one, why not practice more? And two, different colors, different, techniques or whatever. So I'm definitely going to make more of these, but I was happy with how it turned out. So thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day.